Hey everyone, it is Natalie from Being Intentionally Creative. Today we are going to be making another one of these maple leaves in red and white, but this time we're going to actually be doing it with red and white mica powders and epoxy resin. I have a client who is wanting a couple of these, and I love how these turned out with the ceramic resin. I would have liked the red to be a bit brighter all the way through than what it is. So I thought, well, what I would do is I would give a go of doing this in resin. I'm going to do one with mica powders and the other one I am going to do with paste because I'm curious to know how they're going to turn out. And I'm also, you know, how much, well, there's going to definitely be a difference in shine. The other thing we have to note about my maple leaf mold is that it is matte, okay? It's not a shiny mold. So I may have to do some work with it to make it shiny, or we'll see how it looks in the matte format and go from there. Again, I wanted to do something a little bit different, and I'm not going to do the one that I do with the paste on camera. I'm just going to do this one on camera, but I will show you the two of them once they're both done. Now, the other thing I wanted to go back to was this tray here. All right. I did sand it down a little bit. It didn't really make much of a difference in the grand scheme of things. I will be putting resin on this, but I'm still debating whether or not I want to color in some of where the, the lemon lime twist is showing through. So I haven't quite decided how I want to finish this up, but I think it needs a little bit more done to it than what we've got going on here. One of the things I think I am going to do, though, is I'm going to move my camera up a little bit because I just feel like you're down too low to my work surface, but I could be really wrong on that. So let's just bring you up a little bit. Okay. See how that works. Now, what have I used? I have used the Let's Resin white mica powder because it had a really nice shine to it. I am using this red by Eye Candy because I love, love, love this red. I've also used some of this glitter for the red. And from Recollections, I have used this white, which has, like, if you ever noticed with the glitters, especially whites, they've got some different colors in them. Now, I don't know whether it's because it's sort of a holographic or they've just thrown in some other colors. To get a white glitter, as far as I'm concerned, they're harder to find, I find anyway. So if you've got a pure white glitter, let me know what the brand name is because I'd be curious about that. I have gone ahead and mixed up my colors. They're all done. I thought I would do this a little bit differently. One thing I am going to do, though, is I don't want, you'll just have to bear with me. I've been letting my beaters sit over and drip for a little bit, and I just want to get these, like any leftover resin, off of those. So bear with me as I do that. My resin is starting to warm up a little bit, which is, you know, I'm totally okay with that. My red is just an absolutely beautiful red. I'm quite excited about that. We'll get that off. I'm going to then clean off and get what I hope I've got enough. Again, I shouldn't be saying that every time I do my videos, don't I? I hope I've got enough resin. It gets a little tiring after a while, me saying it, and I'm sure of you listening to it. I've made 140, and all I'm hoping for is that I've got enough. Let me just cover that up. Now, the other thing we're going to do with this, I'm not going to pour one color and then the other color, because what I want to actually attempt to do is to get, I'm going to do a dirty pour. I'll just put it that way. I've got another cup here. We're going to back and forth with the red and white to see if we can't get a dirty pour going on and getting it sort of, getting a nice pattern in it. I could do one color and then the other, but I don't I don't see that giving me sort of the design I'm hoping for. And with the ceramic resin, we were able to use one of those contraptions that I had gotten at Michael's, which is great, but I don't want to be putting resin through, because trying to clean the resin out of that, I feel, will be a bit of a, not a fun task at hand for me, so I don't want to do that. So all we're going to do is we'll just go back and forth with one color and the other in this container until we've got it all, and then we will pour. So I guess this is the exciting part you get to watch, right? I'll go to one side and then the other. And, you know, the hope is that we, you know, it stays red and white, right? I'm not using the heat mat for this because I want it to cure on its own, and I don't want the colors to, as we've seen in the past, when you put it on the heat mat, that I find for myself that it's pulling the resin in too much, and then I'm not getting a nice design from it. Oops. Now, I could have done this off camera too, I guess, but let's take you along for the ride so you can see what I'm doing. And then any that I have left over, then we'll use that at the very end. Now, I did attempt to make sure I had, you know, the same amount of mica powder in each cup. I split them up pretty much evenly. And like I said, I tried to keep the spoonful, if you will, of mica powders even in both cups. The glitter's probably maybe a little bit more in one color than the other, but that doesn't bother me at all. And I figured it would be good to do mica to mica because the weight of them would be similar versus trying to do a paste and a mica. Because I've sort of found that too doesn't always work out to the best of what I want it to. So hopefully, sort of from a weight perspective, it's similar. So, anything exciting going on with anybody? Or is it just same old in your world? We actually had frost this week. I keep shaking my head at the weather and going, I'm not sure what's going on at all, but so I had a few plants that I had already put outside. One's, yeah, I'm almost thinking it was a mistake to put it outside, but I did that nonetheless. It's not faring well at all. And the others, they're doing okay. I covered some up in the frost just so they wouldn't end up dead. And yeah, I don't know. Boggles my mind some days. I feel like I have more white than red. Anyway. Okay, we'll just let those two sit there. I'll move them out of the way, actually. cover those up. Now we'll bring my maple leaf front and center. Just got to get a couple little things off to the side so I can move those. And can you see? Yep. All right. And what we'll do is we'll pour this in the opposite way we put it in. Almost makes me think of a candy cane. I don't know if it's going to end up being too much red versus the white coming out of here. Oh, there we go. There's some of the white. Resin doing what resin does, right? Might as well spin it around a bit, eh? And if this comes out that it's got too much of the red, like if the red overpowers the white, which it appears to be doing, then when I do the paste, then I'll do it differently. Right? Because you want to keep trying to get different results. So if I want to get different results, I'm going to have to pour them differently. Yeah, it's definitely going to be more the red than the other two colors, or the other color, I mean, the white. Okay, so hopefully you can see that there. So it definitely is taking on the shade of the red, not the red and white. But again, we're not going to know until we get it out of here, right? Like I may be pleasantly surprised with how this comes out. Now I don't need a lot more. And I'd kind of like to know how much I've used. So I was thinking of only making 100, but I thought, oh, I just don't want to have to. Not even, right? It's just one of those, I want it right. All right, I think we're good as far as being up to the top of this goes. It might take a little, no, you know what? I'm going to leave it alone. All right. So we won't, I won't mess it up. I won't play around with it. I'm going to have to find something to put the rest of my resin in, which is fine. So I just want to move some things out of the way here. All right, so that's what we're looking like. So obviously it's definitely a lot of red in there. The white almost looks silver now. Because of it. So I think when I do the paste, I will do them separately. I'll pour a little bit and I'll spin it around in order to see if we can't get it more red and white. I kind of want to, and I know, just here in the middle. And it's probably going to pull in anywho. But let's just, I'll just do that so it's not so noticeable. This will be the bottom, so it's not really going to matter. So with our long net lighter, it's going to be interesting, right? Because you can already see it pulling itself into the center. So I am going to be very curious to know how this plays out. And as I say, to me, the white is definitely looking silver, which is very interesting. Anyway, we'll let this sit. I will use up the rest of my resin in something else. We will come back, obviously, when it's time to take this one out of the mold, because I'm going to need it again, because I only have one of these. And then I will go ahead and I'll do the other one. And then we'll compare the two and see which direction is the best direction to go. But you can definitely see it's pulling itself in. I will see you on the flip side when it's time to take this one out. I'm ready to take this leaf out of the mold, this tealight leaf. Now it's as we had seen before I let this sit to cure, it had been coming in on the sides. So it's definitely coming in on the sides. We'll look and see how it turned out on the other side. And then I'm going to go ahead and make the other one, and I will bring you back when it's time to take it out of the mold. I won't make you sit through that, but I will be doing it a little bit differently than the first one. All right, so this is what it looks like on this side. So it doesn't have the coloring in it that I had hoped for. So that's got to be because obviously the way I was pouring it in here. So would have been better off had I done it one color and then the other color versus, you know, doing the pour that I did the way I did it. So that's kind of unfortunate. We'll have a look at the sides. And I definitely think that the white looks more silver than actual white. So, and that's having an impact on it as well, as is the fact that this is a matte mold and not a shiny mold. Anyway, I will go ahead and make the next one with I'm going to use the eye candy white paste. And I'm going to use the Elichem classic red paste for the next one. I'm going to do something a little bit different, and I will not be putting these two colors together. I will be pouring them separately. We'll be back to see then how it looks. And I may have to decorate this one up a little bit, just to add some, you know, actual white coloring to it. Anyway, we will be back. I will be back when I've got the other one ready to take out of the mold. I'll see you then. We are ready to finish up our video. I have got a number of things in front of me again. We are going to take this second tealight out that I had done off camera. And you'll notice the pattern I've got in here. And I'm going to tell you what I did. It was something I wasn't going to do. And then I decided, you know what, I'm going to do what I didn't think I was going to do, just because I wanted to make it interesting. So this is the one we'd done with the ceramic resin. This is the one we did with the mica powders that didn't come out quite, it didn't work out the way I had hoped it would. But what's interesting, and I hope you can see them, is it almost looks like they're veins in my leaf because of, you know, the two colors being together, but also the way it would have poured itself into the mold. So I think that's kind of cool. You can see it almost looks like a wine cup, a wine glass here at the top, which is kind of cool. Now, I did have leftover resin from both makes. This one I had done with some of the leftover. So this, well, it's a shiny mold too versus the matte mold of this, right? But I do like how this little dish came out. And you'll notice that I have the red and white in here. I didn't have enough, so I had to pour some more in. So I just made a little bit of extra of this red and white and just threw it in here, which I don't mind how that turned out on the bottom. I think it's kind of cool. And then I like that you can just see a little bit of it here in the mold. So that turned out really well. Now I do have a set of I'll call them earrings back here. I'm going to work on making those into Canadian earrings, if you will, with the red and white. I had also gotten, I was in Michael's, and I had picked up these. They had them on sale for 40% off. So I got these. Now, these might work, you know, if, you know, I do a decoupage of, you know, putting some on this, just to liven it up a little bit more. And I could also see doing it on here a little bit more, right? Like just to liven it up or do something, because that definitely needs something. It's not the way I want it to be for sure. Okay, now let's get this one out and then I'll show you what I did. And I took this one out of the mold because I've done my nails and I didn't want to run the risk of doing damage to my nails. And I'll show you a little trick of how I loosened up the seal on that. But let's get this guy out first. All right. So that's how the front of this looks. I think that's pretty impressive. Right? I like how that looks. And then the back, nice and shiny. Now I'll sand this down maybe a little bit. I'm going to do another one, and I'm going to do it this way because it definitely turned out so much better. Now I'll tell you what the trick was and how I got the total difference in this. And it's similar to what I had done with this one, okay? So when we did this one, in the center, back here, when we did this one, the ceramic resin, I used one of those tools that I had gotten at Michael's, and I set it down and the paint went out through it, okay? With this one, we did the dirty pour, which I'm realizing now I shouldn't have done that. So at least you know for your own future reference, maybe not to do that unless you're looking for a look like this. All right. So what did I do with this one that's different but still gave me the swirls that I'm looking at, and we can see at the sides how nicely that turned out. I mean, that turned out really nicely. So what did I do? Well, I got the strainer and I held it. So I had this sitting just like that. I held this above, and then I did one color after another. So I do white, and then I do red, and then I do white, and then I do red, and I just let it drip through. And I know I wasn't going to do this because I didn't want the hassle of cleaning this up, but this is silicone, and I cleaned it up once I was done with it. And I took one of the micro brushes to clean it out. Like I used isopropyl alcohol. I wiped it down as well as I could, and then for any extra I needed to go, I just went inside through those little hearts, and that's what they are. Hopefully you can see they're little hearts. All right. So I just went through and cleaned them out, and then I threw out my brush. So that's all I did to clean this up. So I should be good. There might be a little remnants of resin in that, but not a big deal. And for what I use it for, it'll still work. Okay, so that's all I did. I held it over one color, then the next, and I just rotated that until I had my mold filled up. And that's what I did to get this. All right, so I'm really pleased with how this turned out. And I almost don't mind that this has a matte finish to it, because you can't really tell. I may do a coating on it, just up on the top here in the inside. I don't think I would need to do that, but just do a coating on it. But I'm going to definitely make another one, and I'm going to do it the same way because I really liked how this turned out. So, and I left it. I don't think I touched it. If I did anything, which I don't think I did, it would have been again swirling it in the middle like I usually do. Okay, so there we have it. So I really like how this one turned out. Now, the little trick that I used to get this one out because of the seal that was around the side here. Well, I had this little silicone tool. I've had it forever. I've used it forever. Okay, this here. So I just took this end, and I very careful, because it's a silicone, and I just put it under the edge, and then I lifted it up. And then I just kept going around and around until I got it to a point where I could get it out. So this worked really well, just breaking that seal, because I was trying to roll it back with my fingers, and that wasn't working very well. Anyway, so I just took this, and then it popped out really easily. Anyway, so that's it. There we have it. If you want, put it in the comments below which of these 3 leaves that you like the best. So my preference would be this one, and then this one, and this one I want to do something with. I'm not sure what yet. And then of course I like my little dish because it's a little unusual, and it came out nicely. You can still see a little bit of the white in it, but again, it turns silver. because I guess because of the red. So there we have it. That's it. That's all. If you want, again, leave your comments below. Let me know which leaf you like. And again, you've now got a new idea on using this, like one of these strainers for resin. I recommend having the silicone ones. I got this and others similar to it, but with different openings off of Amazon, and that's going back about 3 or 4 years when I got these. But I'm sure if you look up silicone strainers, if you're interested, you'll be able to find them. And that is a wrap for what I've got in this video. I hope you've enjoyed it. I hope it's given you some ideas, and I also hope that it's allowed you to see maybe what not to do. Again, if I can help you in that regard, then it's worth it to me. So that's it. That's all. And I will see you in the next video. Have a creative day, and bye for now.